UFC, I forgot my monster. Fuck it. Fuck the UFC. Can't be expected to work under these conditions. That's actually my cushion. I did not put that cushion there for you, baby. Shut up, buttercup. Good boy. Okay, you're gonna sit on me, are you? Alright, UFC 274 is just around the corner, and despite the fact I am sick to the back teeth of hearing John Anik say, "From the favelas of Brazil," I'm hyped for the card. Don't get me wrong, Charles Oliveira's story is fucking amazing, but where he's from is by no means the most amazing thing about him. And maybe, just maybe, he'd rather be recognised for his body of work. Maybe. But you're not about to get that from me, sorry Charlie. I want to talk about two super interesting athletes who are fighting on this card. Justin Gaethje and Rose Namajunas, who happen to be teammates, both under the tutelage of Trevor Wittman, one of the best in the business. Wittman also currently trains Kamaru Usman, Curtis Blades, Rafa Garcia, Corey Sandhagen, Austin Hubbard, and Matthew Lopez. Flumpy Bubba, it would be much more comfy if you went somewhere else. I've spoken previously about Coach Behrman at City Kickboxing, making sure that multiple fighters from his gym are all fighting on the same card to improve the atmosphere during camp, to motivate the athletes and build better bonds. Now, I've not heard Wittman say this is a conscious effort, but it does seem as though it happens quite regularly, and whether it's conscious or not, it certainly doesn't hurt. In fact, all three of Wittman's superstars were on the UFC 268 card, and all three took home the win. Wittman is a really interesting guy, super talented, super dedicated to the sport, with some really unique ideas and innovations. He invented his own MMA gloves, which in many ways seems superior to what the UFC are using. And his corner work is beautiful.
Are you having fun?
But more than that, he intentionally keeps a small group of athletes under his wing and has a really special bond with each of them. I spoke just last week about how gym culture and the coach-athlete bond is fundamental. So go check that out if you haven't already. But I had to talk about Wittman. I can at a later date if you would like, but we are going to talk about Justin this week and Rose next week. I might also do a video on the Chandler-Ferguson fight, but honestly, I don't know if I have that much to say. No, none of us want to see anyone go into the Octagon who's not making good decisions for their long-term health, but also we don't have the intel to know if that's what's going on here. Yes, Tony Ferguson has dealt with mental health issues in the past and continues to be treated. And I spoke a little bit about that in my MMA and mental health video. But just because someone has mental health issues does not mean that all doors should be closed to them forever and ever, amen. For all I know, he's got a great support system around him. He's done everything he needs to do to improve his mental health, and he's genuinely good to go. Who are we to demand the food be taken off his table from the tiny view that we have of his world? And beyond that discussion, I don't know, I just don't think it was a fight any of us wanted to see, so do I have opinions that are worthy of a video? We shall see. Let's start with Justin, shall we? Shall we? If anyone in the whole of the UFC deserves a shot at any of the titles after the war with Chandler and the show that Justin put on, it's Justin Gaethje. Ladies and gentlemen, and here we are on the precipice. Justin says he gives absolutely no disrespect to Oliveira, especially after the performance he put on against Poirier, but he's gonna break his face. And we can't argue with that prediction. When Gaethje fights, plasma flows.
I cannot really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you.
How could you not love watching Justin fight? He's a wrestler that refuses to wrestle, a gladiator born in the wrong era, a fighter whose coaches have to plead with him to throw fewer punches because he gets himself into such tight exchanges. And he listens because one of Justin's biggest strengths is how coachable he is. He's a yes man, and that is a benefit to his game. He just listens to what his coaches have to say, says yes sir, and executes accordingly. I've spoken before about the strengths that athletes gain from trusting the process fully, letting go and putting their faith in a higher power. But it doesn't have to be based in religion. It could be fully trusting the wisdom of the people around you. The hallmark of Justin's style is his feel for fighting. Some fighters find success in making their game all about intellectualizing the fight IQ. They study the game, they look to build technique and skill in order to find their competitive advantage. But warriors, they go in and just react. They were freaking born for this. They move on instinct, they feel it out, and if in doubt, just keep moving forward. Keep throwing. But Gaethje can be a yes man to his competitive instinct as well, to the cheers from the crowd, the urge to be purely entertaining without much regard for his own safety, to take unnecessary chances. And as we saw in the Ferguson fight, he has the ability to control those urges and fight more clinically when there isn't a crowd there to get swept up in. I'm not sure it's fair to say categorically that Justin isn't an intellectual fighter, but it could be the combination of Justin's gut and Wittman's head that makes him so successful. And that doesn't take anything away from him. It should really just serve as a message to you. Like, if you're smart, you need to figure out where your strengths lie and then build a team of people around you, wherever it is you're looking to achieve something, make progress, build a team around you that kind of fill in your holes, you know what I mean? And I'm not just talking professionally. Be honest with yourself about every facet of the human experience and find the yins to your yang. Moving on instinct has hardly proven to be a bad move for Gaethje due to his unique ability to be calm and collected in the midst of a chaotic, swanging, banging exchange. In his early career, it seemed he made his best choices when limbs were flying. In a lull, sometimes he'd throw some very strange offense, but with momentum on his side, his decisions just seem to get better. Some fighters, like Petr Yan, like to take time to figure you out from a distance, not Justin. He'll get to know you up close and very personal. As well as being calm in chaos, Justin fucking loves it. You can see so clearly that he fights for the pure fucking joy of it.
Boy, now you're fighting for the joy of it. For the sheer unholy fucking delight of it!
He may never be the best technically. He may never be able to beat the skill and strategy of the Khabibs of the world. But he'll always have the fans behind him. Ergo, he'll always have the brass behind him, and you can never fucking count him out. His style can overwhelm the most, composed of opponents. His volume swings fate in his favour when it comes to getting that lucky knockout, and his heart could outwork anyone. But he is conscious that he should try and rein it in. He's talked previously about not becoming too complacent, but not having too much fun at the same time. That's where his sweet spot is. If he allows himself to get too calm, too comfortable, then he finds himself in trouble. He's spoken about it before when he faced Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier, that he felt too calm, because you can't get too relaxed when you have that high level of fighter looking to take your head off. And trying to find that balance has been a journey for him, but he finds the antidote to his natural calm in his mindset training. He uses purposeful, powerful mental cues to transition into like a primal state before he's about to fight. Outside of the cage, Justin Gaethje is the ultimate little softie. Oh, such a little cutie. But inside, he actively works to make his body recognize the danger as fucking real, to acknowledge it, to focus on it. He convinces his mind that his opponent is trying to take everything from him, which they are, so it doesn't seem like it should be hard to do, but for calm, collected Justin, he needs to do that mental work to make that person the villain. And also, he kind of brings in his own natural competitiveness into the mix. He says the danger just has to be so real so he can transition into that primal state, so that he can go to fight somebody, to hurt somebody with no regard for their safety or his own. And he has this whole tried and tested mental process that he goes through to turn his opponent in his mind into as big of a threat as someone holding a gun in your face. Only then does his body kick into action, releasing all that adrenaline so that he can get through the pain and perform under pressure. He uses his fear to stay focused and vigilant, but without losing all that natural fun at the same time. Because it would be a detriment to Gaethje and his performance if he were to lose his love of fighting and start focusing on purely winning. Imagine. Though you may not want to ever villainize another human being in order to reach your goals, it's up to you. Use the gun in the face trick if you wish. It is just another form of visualization. Making the mind believe something through repetition, doing those mental reps, so that the body responds in kind. You may not want to raise adrenaline, but instead reduce cortisol. So you could visualize being calm, cool, collected in a situation that would usually bring you to your knees. Do it enough times and your body will know what to do when that situation actually arises. And if you want to know more about visualization, make sure to check out my Confident Like Connor video. Gaethje is so effective because he doesn't fight to try to win rounds. He doesn't try to beat his opponent. When that cage door closes, he's looking to beat them up, to put them to sleep. He fights with bad intentions. After the Chandler fight, when the whole world was celebrating the performance he just put on for our entertainment, Justin said that he thought the fight was boring because it was one of the few nights where he'd been focused on winning and not knocking him out. And of course he did win, but he didn't walk away happy with his performance. We've spoken before about the mindset theory that those that focus purely on winning tend to make more mistakes because they put themselves under excess pressure. And perhaps that's what Justin saw here. When he watched the fight back, perhaps he saw all of the opportunities that Chandler had to take him out of there. Maybe that's why he was kicking himself. What makes Justin's ability to switch on this kill or be killed persona within the Octagon all the more impressive is who he is outside of there. A true traditional martial artist to his core, he is barely recognizable in the outside world. He fights the way he fights because he doesn't want to disappoint himself, his family, and he wants to represent God to the best of his ability. He's focused on being a good person, helping his neighbours, all that lovely, fuzzy, delightful stuff.
I cannot really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings.
And he's always respectful. You won't see Gaethje trash talk his opponents. He doesn't see the point. He wants to big them up so that when he beats them, his achievements are all the more exceptional. Think of him as the antidote to Colby Covington. That was good, but I'm gonna regret it now in a minute. When you see Justin fight, you know there will be blood, but but there won't be bad blood. He talks about his opponents as if they're teammates. And it's not just his opponents, he always does what he can for other people. Even during media days when other fighters are purely inconvenienced, Justin walks into an interview and says, "Just so you know, I've got all the time you need." Justin has assured us fans that he couldn't change the way he fights if he wanted to, but as someone who is highly coachable, I think he's right. I think he could change the way he fights if his coaches want him to. And that's the real beauty here. He has all natural attributes that any gladiator needs. And Wittman can pull the strings, so to speak, no disrespect to Justin at all, and implement the strategy.
I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I might rent the Lambo and go drive it like it's stolen. I've been living wild, I'm just going through the motions. Stumbling out the Uber, grab my hand, gave me the notion. Swimming in your water, but it feels just like the ocean. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you. I was sipping more for 2 years straight to the face. Champagne belly bubbles still won't go away. Last year my best man hit a stain with bare face. Now he's got a hell behind the water's cold case. I wake up with pain sometime and never go away. Wonder why I bow down to my knees when I pray. In my city gritty, gotta keep it on your waist, or you might be a victim, they'll find you DOA. I can't lie, I've really been addicted to you. All of my attention I've been giving to you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. Caught up in my feelings, I got feelings for you. On my mind, I can't lie. On my mind, I can't lie. Pull you down till you dry. Pull you down till you dry. All the time, ease my mind. All the time, ease my mind. I know that you're dangerous, I'm addicted to you.
Gaethje's family tells a story of a little 2-year-old Justin who was bitten by a dog. He chased that dog and bit it back. Justin he's never gonna shy away from exchange. No matter what dog you put in front of him, he is gonna chase that bugger down and make it regret ever getting in the octagon with him. That's what we love about him. Like I said, we're going to talk about Rose next week, but there is a wealth of interesting fights at 274. Lupi Godinez makes a comeback after what is, for her, an extended layoff. 2 fan favourites and all-round tough motherfuckers Donald Cerrone and Joe Lozon are going to square off. Chaos Williams, Francisco Trinaldo. Don't know why I did that. Brandon Royval. It's a big one, lads. Biggin. Let me know which fight you're most hyped for and who you think walks away with that lightweight belt, at least for the time being, until they come up against Islam Makhachev. Sorry. And I'll see you back here next Monday to talk about how it all went down, and mostly to talk about the incredible mindset of one Rose Namajunas. And if you can't wait a whole week, you can take a look at my Dagestani Warrior video, which I'll link for you on the end screen if you want to know why I am so sure that ain't nobody in the lightweight division got an answer for Islam. Oh, and subscribe and all that shit.